All right, joining me now, David Bossie, President of Citizens United. Hey, Dave, good to see you again, sir. Hey, Dave, I want to ask you, before we get to some of these fundraising numbers we've seen, Ron DeSantis, what do you make of him overall? I mean, his stock has really been rising.
You hit it on the head. Ron DeSantis is a rock star. Everything he has done over the last 2.5 years that he has been governor of Florida, it's been one great thing after another. He is incredibly popular, not only in Florida state, but he is popular across the country, which makes him a rising star in the Republican Party nationally. Everything from how he has managed Florida's finances, his budgets, to his handling of COVID, stopping the lockdown, fighting the Biden administration on every turn when it comes to freedom and prosperity. And then this anti-riot bill. It's so common sense. It should be called the common sense bill. If you're out, you get arrested. And if you get arrested, you don't get out on bail to go back to rioting. And he's protecting people because in this particular bill, people around the country, they see the video of these people in cars being surrounded by these mobs. And if you leave the scene, if you try to drive away, you are the one that gets in trouble. And in Florida, they are now protecting drivers from being overtaken by these events so that they are not held liable for anyone who is injured while there's, in a riot and trying to stop traffic.
Yeah. Hey, Dave, I want to turn to Republican politics. You're well steeped in this, obviously, for many, many years, decades, really. The Wall Street Journal with this headline over the weekend: House Republicans who voted to impeach Trump see fundraising boost. They go on to talk about Liz Cheney actually getting some pretty decent money. But we should also point out, and even maybe more importantly, Marjorie Taylor Greene, for example, she raised over $3 million in the first 3 months of 2021. So there is money flowing in on both sides here. What do you make of the money wars here, Dave?
Well, actually, not a lot right now. As you just pointed, there's a lot flowing on both sides. But there's, on the anti-Trump side of the ledger, there's very few outspoken members of the House and Senate. So therefore, there's a lot of potential money to go to just a very few people. So it's actually not, in my opinion, that big a deal that Liz Cheney raised $1.5 million. It's actually, to me, I think she should have raised more. But money's not going to save folks like her because the president is so popular in Wyoming. He's so popular in several of the districts where people did raise a lot of money, but it won't matter. Money is not going to save them because there's good Trump candidates running against them in these primaries in Ohio and in a few others, and that's really going to overtake events as over the next year.
Yeah, I want to ask you a little bit about these Maxine Waters comments over the weekend. I mean, my goodness, the Hill and many other headlines out there, but Marjorie Taylor Greene is going to actually introduce a resolution to expel Maxine Waters. We expect to have Marjorie Taylor Greene on a programming note on the show tomorrow. Kevin McCarthy may have some action as well. He's going to be on the show on Wednesday. What do you make of what Maxine Waters said and the hypocrisy by the media here regarding what Trump said, who said march peacefully, compared to this? It's really ridiculous.
She's an agitator. She is someone who wants to see, it seems from her comments, she wants to see people in the streets, which is exactly the opposite of what we need to have happen with these verdicts. We see what happens historically over the last decade or so with these big trials and then a guilty or not guilty verdict. And people use it as an excuse to go out and burn and loot and pillage. And for an elected member of Congress to use the type of dangerous rhetoric she used, she needs to be held to the same standard that President Trump was held to for not using that kind of language. That is, and the media is once again a clown show. They don't want to hold her accountable. They don't want to hold her to the same set of standards, and they just are going to look by this. The American people are smart, though.
Yeah. As we wrap up, Dave, D.C. statehood, boy, I tell you what, it's like a liberal smorgasbord out there. Every day it's like something new, and here we go. The D.C. statehood could be potentially on the horizon, at least the way that the liberal Democrats would like to see this. They're going to have, apparently Pelosi's having a big news conference on Wednesday. This bill is going to move forward. There's talk that maybe even a few Republicans in the Senate might support this. I can't imagine that Republicans are going to support this because this would not be good for Republicans.
Yeah, not if those Republicans want to stay in the Senate.
Right.
Okay. Citizens United, my organization, actually was created in 1988 to fight D.C. statehood. The original issue that Citizens United was started on. And so to have it coming back to the forefront now because of the power that the Democrats want. You look at across the board, David, what you just said. They want to pack the courts. They want to expand the Supreme Court and pack that Supreme Court. They want to gain more power while they have power. That's what this is about. It's not about what's best for America. Oh, no, no, no. It's all about how do they get and keep power over the American people. That's what makes it so dangerous and insidious.
David Bossie, President, Citizens United. Always great to have you on the show. Really appreciate all the insight, David.
Thanks for having me back.
All right.